I think sometimes like feeling so like robotic, like by the, I think like the 30th, you know, like when we're getting on a bit, I've got like a routine of like how we're gonna do this, and like it just, sometimes you'd like disassociate and be like, you know, like it's not like normal things at all. In my head right now, I can think of like 5, 6 guys, 10 guys that I remember, and that's it. But it's just, I don't know, it's just weird, isn't it? Like, if I didn't have the videos, I wouldn't have known I've done 100, you know? But yeah. I think that was kind of the hard part, is like conversing with them, and like when they'd kind of be like, oh, like we've only had 2 minutes or 3 minutes and you said 5 on the message.
Did someone say that to you?
Yeah. And obviously it just makes me feel so bad.
What would you rate me out of 10? What would you rate me out of 10? What would you rate me out of 10?
No comment.
No comment! That bad.
First wave feminism sought to give women men's rights without men's responsibilities. Second wave feminism sought to reduce or eliminate women's responsibilities. And third wave feminism seeks to increase men's responsibilities. We find that men can't win for losing. They still bear the majority of the burdens they did 100 years ago. To one degree or another, they are still expected to pay on the first date and onward, still expected to pay most or all of the household bills, still expected to be at least as educated as their female partner, still expected to be the one to buy the ring and to buy the flowers and then to buy the chocolates on Valentine's Day, still expected to put themselves between a woman and any danger, still expected to take responsibility for themselves and others, especially women and children. The primary difference is they aren't allowed to expect any thanks, gratitude, respect, status, or reward for it. In one, girls and women are their equals, every bit as tough, capable, resilient, self-reliant, and powerful. And in the other, girls and women are so vulnerable and fragile that they need to be treated with special gentleness and consideration, extra protection and respect. And they are so incapable that they need boys and men to rescue them from anything that might endanger or upset them. Men owe it to us for how horrible men were in the past. I'm just here to ask, what the hell are we doing to our boys and to our men?
Well, it's not good, that's for sure. But the questions, especially this one, need an answer anyway. While the woman here, with a haircut that contradicted what she said, very confused, pointed out the 3 waves of feminism. She forgot about the peak we're witnessing today. The 4th wave, a feminist movement that began in the early 2010s and is characterized by its use of the internet and social media to promote, well, among other things, that story about an influencer betting 100 people. From the 4th wave, we got Sprinkle Sprinkle, where women hop on their respective platforms to talk about men being ATMs. We got Lonely Fans, the simp feeder of all simp feeders, and the reason I can't open X comments without being flashed several times. And pretty much everything else but on steroids. Men, this is the 4th wave. This is the manifestation of every Western mistake, of collective ignorance. And today, we have to ask ourselves, given recent government and cultural shifts, is this the beginning or the end? Is the hellish fire burning at its brightest before it goes out, or is it more like a gender reveal in the middle of a California national park? Only one way to find out.
You ever been cheated on?
When I left for Iraq, the female told the dude that I died in combat. What? So when I came back, he was in my house.
What'd you do to him?
He was on my side. He was like, what the fuck? And then from there, we put her out together.
You put her out together with him?
Yeah, he helped me to kick all her shit out. We went to the bar, had a drink, because he lost his brother in combat, actually. From there, we ended up being cool friends.
Because you gotta realize, baby, I'm not your average bitch.
That's what you're saying.
No. I'm not your average woman. But I will agree with you. I do need to shut up. I like to hear myself talk. And sometimes I think I'm smarter than most people. I'm a Capricorn. I am smarter than most people. So it's been a challenge all my life. Nietzsche, play that goddamn button one more time. My life, I've been told, and my daddy used to tell me, you just gotta shut the fuck up. Your mouth gonna mess up opportunities for you.
I have immense respect for your business acumen.
I know.
For your hustle.
Who don't?
For your brand and everything like that.
I know it.
You know,
I'm
still talking.
Hello. You can't even give these women women a goddamn compliment these days without them goddamn interrupting you. You can't even give them words of affirmation. You can't even show them love. But you know what? Women blame us. Men don't love us the way they used to. I can't show you no love because you're too busy running your goddamn soup cooler. See, she's being masculine right now. Security. Masculine ass woman. How the hell is a masculine man going to come to you with help, provision, protection? All you fucking do is goddamn run your mouth like you know every fucking thing. I can't teach your ass shit. Be quiet.
I'm gonna be quiet.
Okay, let's go.
What you mean?
Be quiet.
I'm sorry.
I'm explaining.
I'm be quiet.
First, the case for why it's just the beginning. Guys, the generational rot is a real thing. Sure, people have had enough and people are no longer catering to the mob like they used to, but this doesn't change the fact that there are at least 3 generations of women who are living their lives with an ideology which, let's be honest, is arguably the most potent cult mentality humanity has ever faced. As an optimist, in most situations, I hesitate to throw the baby out with the bathwater, and yet none of us could make a reasonable argument for why any modern Western woman between the ages of 20 to 55, and that's being generous, isn't completely cooked. And by that, I mean talking to them, opening the door for them, dating them, and as I often say, God forbid, marrying them. Men are working at least twice as hard as they ever have before. Feminists crippled the economy and arbitrarily shoehorned their way back into the workforce, so now we lift the world like Atlas while keeping our dignity intact. The idea that we could do all of this and somehow manage to decondition a modern woman so high on her own supply that she doesn't understand who she is not possible without shrugging and destroying what remains of the masculinity keeping everything together. You saw it in the last clip. Even if a man were to hypothetically compromise, which never works, these chicks would still find a way to be dissatisfied. That's a huge problem.
Are there any older men who like single moms in their 30s?
No.
I could almost bet that every woman at this table, or I know like at least 99% of the women I know in my life have been a victim to a man in some form, whether it was sexually or physically.
But I don't believe it. So here's the thing, right? Like, I don't actually believe 100% that this is so. What I think happens instead, and the stats bear this out as well, is that things which women would consider to be SA, men just simply do not. So for instance, unwarranted touching by women towards men just disregard it, whereas women will often freak out about it. And by the way, I also have the Cardinal Wilson rule. If there was no police report, I don't believe you. That's my actual rule. If there was no police report, the chances that it actually happened in a significant way are not true.
It's called regret, not the former, which might be uncomfortable to admit for many, but plenty of court cases in the last 5 years especially have made that apparent. Guys, the modern female perspective is pure fiction. There's no way to erase that without time. A lot of it. What women seem to like to forget is that they, like men, like any human being, are a novel force of nature. We love, we destroy, we're as much of a creator for good and joy as we are conduits for evil and despair. And given the fact that men are the default, that we possess the most potential, that makes a necessary storm. I say this because the follow-up argument from feminists after clip convos like this is that men are SA'd in prison by men, or that men have to protect women from men. To that, I have 2 things to say. Number 1, a vast majority of men inclined to commit these acts are the product of non-nuclear families. And number 2, without men and the seldom occurring female-caused chaos that comes along with it, there would not just be no people, there would be no comfort or civilization to protect. But women don't look at the world through this lens. They're so self-involved that they think all of it popped up spontaneously, that all of this luxury that they take for granted wasn't a death-defying product of a masculine sacrifice over the course of thousands of years. And here's what it all boils down to.
Body count, I have to say, does not matter because I have over 100 bodies.
20 years old, right?
Yes.
They crashing out. Yo, they crashing out.
Don't judge men based on stuff they can't change.
Bro, why is she crashing out like that?
Oh, next time I won't be so light. Wait, am I wrong if I want to hit her back? I'm not going to though. I'm not going to.
Nah, chill, gay. Don't crash.
The double standard, regardless of the Western shift, is still alive and well. Men, it's essentially impossible to wake someone up who wants nothing more than to be asleep. Modern female society is essentially in the middle of powder keg sleepwalking. Whenever you attempt to wake them up, they lash out, make false accusations, flail like a tube man at a dealership, and hustle people, shave their heads, and commit to irreversible procedures that render them obsolete. And this is the bottom line. Men are sometimes chastised for being passport bros, looking for something elsewhere, while women, in a weird twist of irony, attack the customs of other women that they don't agree with, all based on the assumption that men didn't initially try to convey themselves in correct course. And yet, here are the facts, ladies. Men actually did try, at least at the start. I mean, that's what these podcasts and reviews are all about. Sure, now it's just a way to laugh and have fun with the cards that are dealt, but there were a good 50 years where dudes tried to reach you. It's just that every time they tried making contact, you labeled it as something oppressive or something equally silly and downright absurd. So, what do you do with this sleepwalker? The kind that blows up any time that they're confronted? Well, you sure as hell don't keep trying. There's just too much to do in one life to save what doesn't want to be saved. But let's dig a bit deeper.
Nobody fearmongers women about all the things that can go wrong when you base your whole life around your career. They only fearmonger women about what could go wrong if they base their life around being a wife and mother. And I just think you guys probably don't ever get a chance to hear anybody say that to you, so I wanted the chance to say it. I was told all the time, from the time I was little, you have to go to college, you have to have a career, you have to have your own money, because if you don't, what's going to happen? You'll get trapped. A man could abuse you. What if he leaves you? What if he dies? What if he cheats? But nobody ever asks, wait, what if I spend all of my years going to college to be a surgeon? Nobody ever says, well, wait a second, what if you get in an accident and your arm gets broken and you can't do surgery? Or what if you get arthritis and you can't use the scalpel anymore? Like, what if your eyesight goes bad and you can no longer perform surgery?
So I was just trying to record a video of me saying that I didn't need a man to help me hang something on the wall, and it's this round mirror. Here, I'll show you my setup. Okay, so this is the setup. I had everything out, right? That's the mirror I'm gonna hang up, and I wanted to hang it right here, and I measured it out and everything. I was doing well. I was doing very well, and then I realized that the mirror is really heavy, so I have to, I don't know if they're called anchors or something, but I need an anchor. But anyways, I don't know. I thought that I knew what I was doing, and then I had to take the drill out, and then there's nothing in there, and I can't get anything in there. I don't know. I guess I do need a man.
Now for the case that the Feminist Act is coming to a close. People, the Civil War seems evident, and by that, I don't mean red and blue coats. I mean that there's an invisible line being drawn between the women who are actually picking up the memo and the ones who are beyond help. We see it in the form of pick-me's, where of course there are those just begging for attention, but then there are some that have made real efforts to speak to their demographic. We see it in the form of trads, with some just cosplaying a worthy wife for clicks and views, but others trying to show the next generation that there is nothing wrong with a spatula, an apron, and a closed mouth. I wouldn't necessarily say that this is a sign that feminism is not prevalent. It clearly is. But if you've been following the study and article segments, we are, for the first time in our lives, witnessing small pockets of dissent because people are realizing that the feminist manifest destiny ends with scorched earth, loneliness, and regret, with a servicing understanding that without masculinity, there's no place to call home, no dinner to be made, no purpose to actually be proud of. I would even go as far to say that this is probably why these LonelyFans women keep upping the ante, doing more and more heinous shit, because deep down, even though they're starting to understand that, for them, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. The feminist market really looks like it's about to close. The customer list for shock and lust, it's progressively more and more empty.
I just got home and had the realization that all my friends, my age, are at home, making their families dinner and tucking their kids in, and I'm probably forever just gonna be the big tittied aunt who never settles down and goes.
What just occurred?
He's making me mad.
Did you damage his sign? I have it on video. So are we pressing?
Yes, yes. Destruction of you'll get community service and you'll be ordered to pay restitution for the flag.
I am a full-time student. I'm coming back here in the summertime.
Next time you'll think not to do it.
Dude, like you can't find any like peace in your heart and understanding.
I will tell the judge and he'll drop the charges after 6 months and you do community service.
You don't offer like second chances, redemption.
It's too late now. You had a chance not to do what you did, but you went ahead and did it anyway.
Huh, looks like actions do have consequences. Men, the system is slowly shifting, and that's a good sign. Again, this isn't to say that men aren't still being unjustly charged, having to pay alimony and child support to women who keep the kids in the attic or whatever else. But being someone who constantly sifts through miles of brain rot to bring you these gems, I've started to notice something a bit peculiar. For a while, women would prop their phones up at the gym in a swimsuit to shame a man. They're getting kicked out all the time. This year, I've seen way more cases than I ever have where men are brought to court to pay up, only for the female plan to backfire, and the woman sometimes has to pay up herself. I've even seen child support and custody battles that were almost 100% predetermined, leading in favor of the father, where the child is given an actual chance to be a functioning member of society under the tutelage of a male figure. Again, I'm not saying that it is even close to being balanced. The court system is so corrupted that it might take another century to correct course. But I'd be lying if I didn't see a handful of cases where the system has started to shift in various states and countries. On the side of faith, I see young men returning to practice. Religion aside, with such a massive return to the fold, women, being naturally impressionable, are sometimes adhering to these rules as well. It's a crazy time to be alive. All of this aside, it's time to come to a verdict.
I hate when I'm like cussing a man out or like being like, leave me the fuck alone, and then they really do.
Are you really fucking upset that a man listened to what you wanted him to do?
Like, no, beg. Beg!
Why would a man beg to get cursed the fuck out by a woman that doesn't like him? Stephanie from Fashion Nova at Columbus Circle, you just activated my motherfucking trap cards. First I activate the trap card, ain't nobody got time for that.
Are you kidding?
This card is activated anytime a female monster makes a request, but then gets upset. Gets their mouth and hands bound with duct tape, while Michael Myers is walking straight to their house. Last I activate the trap card, your boyfriend got another woman pregnant. When this card is activated, any female monster upset at a situation she created herself automatically loses the duel, as now you must decide whether or not you want to become a stepmother to your best friend's kid. Now go. You are banished to the Shadow Realm, aka being constipated at work.
You look like if I was your dad, I'd leave you too.
You look like your OnlyFans is free.
Guys, to me, and this makes the theme a bit misleading, but I think it's the beginning of the end. What I mean by this is that it might take 25 years, 50 years, 100 years, but the age of feminism has been welcomed by institutions, paraded through the streets, shoved down everyone's throat, and surprise, surprise, the world is yakking it up like my dog after he foolishly tears off the arm of a stuffed animal, mistaking it for a snack. Like I said near the start, this is going to take time, a lot of it, but the marches, songs, and the female empowerment movement in general, it's sad, it's repetitive, and like the movies they tried pushing out for the past 10 years, nobody with two brain cells to rub together is buying it anymore. Of course, this isn't me signing off, this isn't me telling the passport bros to come back, this isn't me saying that I'll stop traveling the world, and this definitely isn't me telling any of the women who took part in this that their past can be forgiven. It's just that, at least lately, it's starting to feel like hope has returned.
Sitting in the car waiting for my son's football game to start, and all the parents are looking at me like I'm crazy. Like they're all walking by. You guys calm down, okay? I'm making Instagram reels. Everyone does this. It's not like I'm talking to myself or something.
Don't you want a woman of your own?
What for?
Share your name, bear your children, be a companion.
To ask me to quit drinking, quit gambling, save my money, and to bitch about her aches and pains all day? No, thanks.
That's Clint Eastwood speak for tell it to someone who cares, because we don't. Now, we're just having fun, and that's because we know exactly what we're working towards. And if you made it to the end of this video, I want to say I appreciate you. So don't forget to hit that like button, drop a comment to have a chance to win, and hit that sub button for daily videos. And if you could take a quick sec to subscribe to the second channel, Man Guide Reacts, link is down below in the description so we can be sure our message will keep on reaching the new men out there. I appreciate all the support, y'all, and I want to wish you all tremendous success.